everyone. So I got into the Agave. That was the big one that shaded her pups. I've taken her out of the pot and I've collected all the pups from the bottom of her root system. So you can see that she pops off to the side here. That's where they connected to the mother. Then they grow their own roots and they come up. So I've got actually quite a large selection because under the ground where I couldn't see, there was actually pups like this just starting to come out. This one obviously being the biggest, oh no, sorry, these two being the biggest. So you can see their root systems are quite long. They're really ready to move on from mum. But if you noticed from that first video where I had a look at it and noticed how many weeds had grown up when I've only recently just weeded it, I didn't actually find why. Because have you ever felt like you weeded and then like 2 weeks later they're right back and you're like, how were they just growing back? Well, in the case of the pot that I was looking at, this is where the weeds were all coming from. So this is the bits that were coming up into the ground. That's the head of it up there. And then this is the bulb. So the bulb is where it all comes from. Now the bulb has also got a root system, which is quite thin, but is also building some kind of weird spider other bulbs. And then those bulbs break off. So this is why when you pull plant weeds out of the ground and they pop up the next week, is because actually somewhere deep in the ground is a bulb like this, and it's just going to regenerate and regenerate until you can get your fingers in there and pull the whole thing out, and then hope that when you pull it out, you're not leaving the little baby bulbs in the soil. And that is why I hate weeding, and also why it's very, very, very difficult. So I've got my pups. I've got more of just the normal soil. Now this one is nice and easy because all we have to do is look at the length. Like I said, some of these were underground, so there's like a root coming out above the ground level, which means that it's just spent too much time underground. You can also see some of it's gone soft because it hasn't been able to break off from its mum, get out and grow up. So however long the roots are, so this pot is a particularly good size because the roots just hit the bottom. So I don't want to ever plant something in a shorter pot than massively shorter than what the actual things are. So let's just dig in. You buddy are going to go right in the middle. Go nice and soft with the roots. Now, because at this stage they've been sharing a pot, I'm not too worried with the concept of these sharing a pot, but I am going to propagate one in water for comparison to see what the difference is in their growth as they change from being in familiar soil with their mum to being in new soil, because I wasn't able to take any soil from the mum plant because she needed all she could get, which I will show you later. Alright, so you're nice and secure over here. And again, I'm just looking for the healthy examples. I'm not going to pick something and just try and plant everything and make it grow. I just want to pick the healthy examples. Nice and soft with those roots. And the plant is up on the lip, so it's not deep in the lip, it's not going to shade it too much, but it's also deep enough that they're not going to fall over. Now the mum plant, on the other hand, once I took the pups away, it actually took a lot away of her support because she'd been pushed out and off out of the pot. I'm going to have to build her some supports when I put her back in the pot, because I just tried to put her back in and she fell over immediately. So not the best example. So maybe what I need to do next time is make sure that I get to the pups earlier. Don't let them grow quite to this size. And then I won't have that problem of my mother plant falling over it immediately. All right, so there we go. So this is my new agave, and I'm hoping that these will grow and then I'll repot them. Agave can actually grow to about 7 feet, so it's just another foot on top of me. So they do have the ability, when left out in sort of the soil, that would allow them to grow to their size. So the plant will always grow to a pot size, and then it will either stay and be happy and get on with life, or want to grow past it, get that root rot that we were talking about, which can be an issue. So these two look pretty happy, and they're going back outside to get used to it. And then I've got this little one here, and the roots aren't very long. Ooh, and this is so I've got the 3 stages of growth. This is what comes off the mother plant, upside down in the ground. So we'll go down like this. You see it like that? And then it turns into this. See how they go together? So this one I haven't given a chance to grow. I've just pulled it out because I'm not doing pups again in the next couple of weeks. So then it starts to shoot out its own roots. That allows it then to grow its own leaves, and then it starts to grow up and out of the soil. So this is under the soil, this is growing out of the soil. And then it turns into this one. Obviously, like I said, it just didn't get past enough of the soil that some of those bottom leaves haven't been able to escape the moisture in the soil, which just caused them to rot a little bit. So I'm just going to take the rotted ones away. And these two are going to go in water with a little bit of seaweed mix. Just using just a plain sort of little Tupperware container that I lost the lid to, so I don't really use anymore. And I'm just going to rest them and use them against each other to cause that tension, so that only the roots are in the water and they're just sitting on top of that water level. Because again, too much water on the plant, ta-da, and it will rot. Not enough water on the roots, won't get those nutrients from the water, because obviously there's lots of particles in water that it can soak up. And then hopefully in the next couple of days we'll also get some sunshine, please, and that will also help it as it adapts to being a new water plant for me. All right, I think I've done all the plants now. I think my gardening is done. I mean, apart from I have to clean the kitchen now because it's soil everywhere. So I hope you enjoyed the series on plants. I hope that gave you some ideas of the things you can do at home while you're in lockdown. You don't have to go out and buy things. There are things in your environment already that are happy and excited to be propagated. And like I said, sometimes you're going to put something in water and it's just going to wilt away and die. And that's okay. That's part of the process. So it's about learning from your mistakes. It's about, accepting that sometimes plants, like the biologist succulent, I mean, she certainly wasn't expecting to go away and have it get very cold and not make it, but I'm going to save it. So take care of these things and they will grow, and then you'll have hundreds of them, and then who knows, maybe you will start your own business and sell plants to your friends. So anyway, I hope that helps you get started, and I hope that helps you get your brain into what we're doing in science. All right.